and welcome to UC Today. My name is Kieran, and for this session I am delighted to be joined by Jonathan Baruch, founder and CEO at Local Measure. Today we are discussing how AWS Partners integrate SMS, notifications and email into apps. Jonathan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, before we get started into the meat of the topic, can you please tell us a little about yourself and the work you do with Local Measure?
I think we should have probably come up with a more sexy title than what we did, didn't we? I think we can make UC and CCAS a little bit more interesting. I'm Jonathan Baruch. From my accent, you can probably tell I am based in Sydney, Australia. We're a global company, though, with folks in North America, across Europe, South Africa, Asia. We focus on creating magical customer experiences. We do that in partnership with AWS, with Pinpoint, which we're going to talk to you about today, simple email service, and also an Amazon web service called Amazon Connect. Our flagship product is a product called Engage, and essentially that's a CCAS, a single pane of glass that orchestrates all of the digital channels in a contact center, inbound and outbound, and sort of threads it seamlessly through AI and bots and into an agent experience so they can deliver a great customer experience.
Perfect. And before we dive into Local Measure's partnership with AWS and Pinpoint and SES, I'm just a bit curious to get take advantage of your expertise in the industry. And what would you say, looking towards 2024 and beyond, what do you see being the major trends specifically in the contact center and in the customer experience space?
I'm going to be a little bit boring and probably give you the answer that everyone else gives you, but we're spending probably most of our time thinking about two topics. I'll give you the less boring one, which is proactive service. So how do you use digital channels to reach the customer before they know they have an issue? So how do you reach them through an SMS, through an email, through a WhatsApp, based on IoT, based on customer behavior, based on browsing behaviors on your website, to essentially help the customer before they have to pick up the phone and press one for sales and kind of wait in a queue for hours to get onto anybody. So that sort of proactive service is kind of one big trend for us. And the other is obviously how do we infuse kind of generative AI into the agent experience to really turbocharge their ability to serve and delight customers. We're of the view that we're not quite ready yet to open up generative AI directly over the channels to the end customers. The brands tell us they're still a little bit nervous and they're comfortable where there's sort of an agent or a human in the loop. So all of the work we're doing at the moment is sort of agent assist, summarization, pre-population, next best action, sort of giving the information to the agent at the time they need the answer to kind of service the customer.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I think that's a really, really patient way of doing it. I see it speaking to a lot of other customers about maybe obviously it's perfectly valid for people to really just dive in 2-footed because there's so much to explore with generative AI. There's so many positive capabilities, but obviously it's a very completely valid and way of working to maybe a bit. But yeah, just that they take the time and seeing what works and what doesn't. But I guess
Crawl, walk, run.
Yes, exactly. I guess moving into the meat of the topic, the subject itself. Can you tell us a little bit about Local Measure's partnership with AWS, please?
Definitely. So we are an APN partner. We actually also last year at Reinvent signed a multi-year strategic collaboration agreement, which was announced by Ruba Borno, who's the AWS partner leader, and myself at Reinvent, which was super exciting. And that involved global joint go-to-market activities, kind of joint funding, joint marketing, essentially joint commercialization of some of the incredible capabilities that AWS has, whether that's Pinpoint, whether that's SES, whether that's Connect, whether now it's Amazon Bedrock, which we're using as the foundation for a lot of our generative AI capabilities. Essentially, we use AWS in a number of ways. Obviously, as a customer, we're using some of their primitives, their infrastructure, their services like Pinpoint to bring that into our application. We're using them as a channel. So we're actually selling through AWS Marketplace, which allows AWS customers to buy our solution with one click. And that's a really interesting, probably topic of another conversation, but essentially it allows companies to consolidate all of their software purchases onto their AWS invoice in a single transaction. So that's really powerful for us as a software vendor. And then finally, as a partner, where they're supporting us in the go-to-market globally, introducing us to accounts, and suggesting our product as a buy not build approach to digital communications and contact center services as well.
Oh, brilliant. And I guess like expanding on that, what type of work do you tend to do with the communication channels at AWS?
So look, we the primary two we use are Amazon Connect and Pinpoint. So Amazon Connect being like an omni-channel contact center application, and there's a part of that application which also allows for high volume outbound communications, and that relies on Pinpoint quite heavily, which is great. So Pinpoint sort of orchestrates the journeys, can send out an email through SES, can send out an SMS, but can also then feed into Connect to power that outbound dial, which then presents within the local measure platform. So think about patient scheduling, think about receivables or credit type scenarios, think about kind of regular check-ins with customers. All of those kind of journeys can be orchestrated within Pinpoint. And then from a customer service perspective, we rely on simple email service for two-way email communication. So a lot of contact centers still service customers through the email channel. It's kind of remarkable in this day and age, but it's still a really high volume channel for customers. I think brands often think about sending blast emails out to customers, but often forget that customers want to be able to reply. I mean, nothing annoys me more as a customer when the email address is no reply at acme.com. Customers want to be able to reply to messages. They want to reply to emails. And that's exactly what we do with Pinpoint and SES, routing it through Amazon Connect and landing it with an agent. So we essentially turn a number of kind of AWS services into like fully built, off the shelf, fast time to value, kind of ready to go solutions.
Perfect. And I think it's interesting you're discussing the mechanics of Pinpoint and SES and our processes. Can you tell me a little about maybe a couple of success stories about those two solutions, about Pinpoint and SES, and how they've helped customers and clients and users?
In many, many ways, I think what we're seeing more and more in a very privacy conscious world is brands want to consolidate their applications. They want less vendors, not more. And they really trust AWS, and they have teams that kind of safeguard and protect their data and their infrastructure in AWS. So the model of Pinpoint and SES is quite unique, that they can be provisioned within the end customer's account. So they're secured, the data storage is within the end customer's account. So you think about government or financial services or healthcare, where there's potentially some very sensitive conversations that run through SMS or email or in fact voice. Being able to provision those services with AWS within the existing infrastructure, protected by the security controls of the organization, is very unique. So, we've seen really great success around security because obviously customers love the security of AWS and having it within their account. We've seen customers who've told us they've seen really fast time to value. We deployed a very large global airline in about 30 days. We migrated all of their communication channels, email, SMS, and voice, across hundreds and hundreds of agents in 30 days. We've had Vodafone who've told us that we've taken 2 minutes of AHT out of average handle time out of every conversation and increased their contact resolution by about 10%. We've had a business processing outsource company called Support Zebra, based out of the Philippines, a rollout for a fast food chain in the US, a quick service restaurant. And they've seen reductions between 30 and 50% in the average handle time, the time it takes to service a customer. So when you kind of add all of those things up and you're running a large scale customer operations, if you're taking 2 minutes out per call, or you're reducing the average handle time by about 50%, I mean, that translates to really, really huge cost out initiatives, but also just a much better customer experience, because you can actually get onto an agent, you can send a message and it's responded to, you can kind of have your inquiry dealt with quicker. I mean, no one wakes up in the morning hoping to call a contact center and wait in queue. I mean, that's the last thing you want to do. So being able to communicate over the channel of choice, doing it promptly and efficiently is sort of really valuable. We also offer WhatsApp, we offer Facebook Messenger, we offer Instagram, we offer WeChat, we offer Line. So we have a full breadth of channel capabilities as well.
Great, and I think it's really interesting just to end with my final question. Obviously, you guys are perfectly positioned as a very vital AWS partner, and it's about the relationship as a partner. And I'm quite curious to get your views on what's one thing would you say that partners help customers do that they typically couldn't do on their own?
So I think there are some customers that are highly technical, that have large DevOps or engineering groups, and they love to build everything. I think in the current climate and current economy, we're seeing that less and less. The vast majority of customers, I think, don't want to repeat, mistakes of other companies. They want to buy off-the-shelf products. They don't want to build. And so I think where AWS is really powerful is they have this army of ISVs, of kind of software companies that have prepackaged solutions that you can buy off the shelf from AWS Marketplace, that leverages solutions like Pinpoint and SES for the global resilience, redundancy, security, all of the things that customers know and love from AWS, but with the added applications that customers need to be able to just get going. So I think the fast time to value and some of the pace of innovation that you can get through some of AWS's software partners, I think would be really challenging to do kind of in-house for a brand. And that's what we've seen globally. Our revenue increased almost 300% year on year. And we're very grateful for the relationship we have with AWS, that we're driving this innovation into customers together at scale.
Perfect. And I think that's all we've got time for today. But I've really enjoyed this. It's been fascinating to dive into the nitty gritty of the precise details of what ADS and Local Measure are working on. But so thanks to Jonathan for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
And if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share on social media, and we'll see you next time. I've been Kieran Devlin of UC Today. Thanks for watching.